My name is Brennen and I discriminate. I see a difference, I have preconceived judgments about people, and I have made decisions based on them. Now before you make a freshly preconceived judgment on me, allow me to elaborate. Discrimination is all around us. It is a human experience. Every single person in this room has both perpetuated and experienced discrimination based on a multitude of factors, be it race, religion, culture, visual appearance, opinions, any of these. We have both felt the sear of judgment and placed it upon others, sometimes intentionally and other times not. The human brain is built to make connections based on difference before it puts like with like. Due to this primal human inclination, we have traditionally built a society based on ignorance and fear of the unfamiliar, resulting in bigotry. This primal element is everywhere. It penetrates even the most forward-thinking of institutions, even our own backyard. Here at SOTA, we still experience gender discrimination. We experience classism and cliques. We pride ourselves on alternative thinking, yet still face an administration that bars students from using bathrooms based on their gender orientation. We face students that choose friends and social cliques based on appearance and social status. Even with our most heralded and esteemed social justice movements, the kind we throw assemblies and holidays for, there were discrimination. How many of you in the crowd know the name Claudette Colvin? Very few. Now, how many know the name Rosa Parks? Everybody should at this point. Claudette Colvin was the actual first black woman to refuse to give up her seat on the Montgomery, Alabama bus for a white person, but you would never know it. As it turns out, the civil rights leaders of Montgomery and later the NAACP would suppress and not publicize Claudette's groundbreaking courage because she was an unwed, pregnant teenager. The incident with Rosa Parks, a politically correct, middle-aged woman, proved a much more remarkable and powerful tale for their movement. I also gave you the name of Maynard Rustin, the man who organized the entire March on Washington, without whom there would be no I Have a Dream and no mountaintop. The man who was given no significant historical contribution because of the insignificant fact that he was openly gay, a detail that did not fit the comfort zone of civil rights leaders. So you see, the very same people who were on the front lines of civil rights movements had discriminatory tendencies. I do not say this to be cynical or to be pessimistic, or that it is right or justifiable, or anything of the sort, but it is reality. To progress forward, we must fully understand our own reality. Let me tell you about my reality. I come from a really, really strange collage of a family. I began my life with a mom and a dad, 2 siblings, and a dog, a quintessential American family. That all shifted when I turned 8. My parents got divorced, my mother remarried a woman, and swiftly began a life of a power lesbian. Opening our home to over 45 foster children, battling the school district on harassment, intimidation, and bullying policy, and attending a mostly LGBT synagogue. In a period of 2 lives, my life went from typical American to a Republican nightmare. And something like thinking. Growing up in this unique environment broadened my perspective and lit an ever-growing flame of social reform inside me. By age 11, I was a 3-year Seattle Pride veteran, a marcher in protest for marriage equality. By 12, I found myself in the halls of Congress testifying for the first domestic partnership bill in Washington. During this experience, my idea of American bigotry grew tenfold. Upon first sight, the sign-wielding, bile-spewing, yelling crowds of anti-gay supporters confused and frightened me. How could all of these people so passionately believe that my family and every other like it was immoral and reprehensible? I was scared stiff to go in. I looked away as I walked into the Capitol building to give my testimony. Afterwards, while sitting on the Capitol steps, unsure of whether my contribution would even faze legislators compared to the horde of protesters, my family friend and Equal Rights Washington president, Josh Freeds, gave me some safe advice. He said, "They fill the seats in hallways because they cannot fill people's minds. They know they are losing the battle, so they make more of a scene." That day that the bill passed, as I sat with family and friends, these words rang true. Then came along the Everything But Marriage bill, a bill that would extend all rights except the nomenclature, and I jumped at the chance to testify again. This time I went in with a thicker skin. I still ignored the crowds, but I walked through the hallways with a sense of purpose. The bill passed and we rejoiced. We fought the ensuing referendum successfully and we rejoiced. With each victory, mine and those around me confidence grew. By the time Senate Bill 6239, the real deal, the mountaintop, rolled around, I was laughing in the faces of those who thought their personal bias could stop real change I strolled in, waving to each and every one as I lobbied for my blasphemous, sodomizing, unnatural heathen family's right to equality under the law. Experience the change that was possible had made me realize the ridiculousness of one opposing testimony after another. My favorite was having a mid-60s housewife from California, reminiscent of the church lady from SNL, donning a yellow sweater and massive high vocals and a bonnet on her head, school me on my parents, the very same ones who produced 4 permanent and raised over 45 temporary functional smart kids, inability to produce and raise children. As if basic biology was a foreign concept to me, probably another thing she'd like to see in schools. The ensuing legal and ballot battle was arduous, with many hours of phone banking and sign hanging, contributed by my family and I. We waited and waited, counting the hours and the minutes till election day. When it finally came, we attended the DNC party in Toronto, a party of 500 people, and were still denied instant results. Initially, I was annoyed. I had craved the overwhelming roar of a community finally victorious. I wanted one movie-esque moment to validate all of our work, and I was being pulled along even longer. We ended up hearing the results via iPhone while sitting on the couch waiting for dinner to cook. In hindsight, I would not trade the moment of sitting with my family, grins ear to ear for the world. After all, this process began with, ended with, and affected my family. So now the question becomes, how do we create a more just and equal future? Eliminating hatred begins with creating an infrastructure that does not officially allow it to happen. Through laws like the Civil Rights Act and Senate Bill 6239, we can at least create an environment for personal change. The future we would like to see begins with each and every one of us. In the words of women's rights activist Maggie Kahn, speak up even when your voice shakes. Do not let the fear of resistance and hardships deter you from speaking out. Do not let those with power get away with injustice. Storm Paul Kelly's office on the first side of inequality. Advocate for those around you as well as you yourself. And always remember that a successful soda is a two-way street. Do not let others' judgments affect your drive to right wrongs and create a better world. Express yourself. Wear what you like. Enjoy the things that make you happy and don't give a rat's what others think. Be a Claudette Colvin or a Baynard Rustin, for even the howl of a bigoted majority cannot overpower a chorus of 1,000 voices for change. So yes, I have discriminated. Yes, I've passed judgments and let the instinctual complex of my brain win. The point is that we all have. In order to work to defeat this complex, we have to work to constantly be self-aware and suppress this urge, as self-awareness is our only hope in eliminating discrimination. Yes, discrimination is human nature. So is crapping in the woods and reproducing at every opportunity. Yet we managed to overcome both of these in the name of human progress and civility. After all, what is society really other than a giant finger in the face of nature? So I ask you, Soda and Sammy community, to take a stand, be self-aware, understand your brain, and tell nature to fuck off. Thank you.
Well